Packard. Packard wasn't just a luxury brand. Packard was the luxury standard, the kind of car you bought when you wanted the world to hear your arrival before you even stepped out. The company began in 1899 in Warren, Ohio, later operating out of Detroit. For 5 decades, Packard was synonymous with refinement, engineering pride, and a level of finish that made competitors look unfinished. James Ward Packard built his first car after buying a Winton and finding it disappointing. Alexander Winton himself reportedly told Packard to build a better car if he could. So he did, and kept doing it for 59 years. Packard's backstory reads like American royalty being forged, meticulous manufacturing, elite clientele, and that old saying people repeated like gospel, ask the man who owns one. In 1916, Packard introduced the Twin Six, the world's first production V12 engine. While others struggled with 4 cylinders, Packard had 12. Presidents Warren Harding, Calvin Coolidge, and Franklin Roosevelt all chose Packards. FDR's Sunshine Special, the car that carried him through World War II, was a modified Packard 12. Under the hood, Packard wasn't only about comfort, it was about competence. These cars were built with a seriousness that made them favorites for people who treated automobiles like long-term investments, not toys. A properly maintained Packard could run for decades. The heartbreaking detail is that Packard didn't fail because it forgot how to build cars. It failed because the world changed around it. After World War II, Packard made the fatal decision to chase volume. The Packard Clipper targeted middle-class buyers. It worked initially, sales jumped. But when everyone could afford a Packard, nobody aspired to one. By 1954, desperate for survival, Packard merged with Studebaker. The last true Packard rolled off the line in 1956. The 1957-58 Packard bakers were just Studebakers with Packard badges, an insult to everything the brand represented. The gut punch is this: Packard once represented the pinnacle of American achievement, and yet even the peak isn't safe when the mountain crumbles beneath you. Auburn. Auburn is proof that beauty can be famous and still be fragile, because Auburn built some of the most stunning American cars ever created and then disappeared like a snap spotlight. The Auburn Automobile Company started in 1900 in Auburn, Indiana. For 2 decades, they built respectable but unremarkable cars. Then E.L. Cord arrived in 1924, and everything changed. Cord was 30 years old, a salesman who understood that cars weren't just transportation, they were dreams made real. He redesigned Auburn's entire line with longer hoods, lower roof lines, and two-tone paint schemes that made them look twice their price. Auburn's context is inseparable from the Cord Corporation era, an interwoven empire of ambition, design, and massive gambles meant to shake the market. The technical and symbolic power of Auburn was its ability to blend performance with presence. The 1935 Auburn 851 Speedster came with a plaque guaranteeing it had been tested at over 100 miles per hour. Every single car. The supercharged straight-8 engine produced 150 horsepower. The boat-tail Speedster design is still considered one of the most beautiful cars ever built. Here's the twist that still stings. Auburn's brilliance existed during a period when the economic world could pull the rug out overnight. An Auburn 851 Speedster cost $2,245 in 1935. You could buy 4 Ford the 5th 8S for that price. Auburn tried everything. They introduced a lower-priced 6-cylinder line. They offered revolutionary features like an X-frame chassis and Columbia dual-ratio rear axle. Nothing worked. By 1937, Auburn production ended, and the brand became a museum whisper, recognized by collectors, forgotten by most drivers. Today, an Auburn 851 Speedster sells for over $1 million at auction. In 1937, dealers couldn't give them away. Duesenberg. Duesenberg is the name people drop when they want to say the greatest, because for a moment in America, Duesenberg built cars that made Rolls-Royce feel nervous. The Duesenberg brothers, Fred and August, were German immigrants who started by building bicycles in Iowa. By 1913, they were building racing engines. By 1921, a Duesenberg became the first American car to win a European Grand Prix. They won the Indianapolis 500 in 1924, 1925, and 1927. The technical flex was the Duesenberg Model J, introduced in December 1928. The timing couldn't have been worse. The stock market would crash 10 months later. Yet this car delivered 265 horsepower from a 6.9-liter straight-8 when most luxury cars made 100. The supercharged SJ, launched in 1932, produced 320 horsepower, and could exceed 135 miles per hour. In 1932, the chassis alone cost $8,500, about $150,000 today. But you didn't buy a complete car. You bought the chassis and had it bodied by coach builders like Murphy, Durham, or LeBaron. Final prices routinely exceeded $25,000, over $400,000 today. And here's the emotional hook. Duesenberg wasn't bought, it was desired. Gary Cooper owned one. So did Clark Gable, Mae West, and Howard Hughes. Al Capone's armored Duesenberg had inch-thick glass and 3,000 pounds of armor plating. The phrase, "it's a doozy," comes from Duesenberg. When something was extraordinary, incomparable, perfect, it was a doozy. The twist is cruelly simple. The Great Depression didn't just hurt luxury demand, it strangled it. E.L. Cord, who owned Auburn Cord Duesenberg, kept production going through sheer will. But by 1937, only 481 Model JS had been built. Production ceased. The greatest American car ever made lasted less than 9 years. Fred Duesenberg died in 1932, killed in a car accident while driving an SJ at high speed. He never saw his company's end. Studebaker. Studebaker's story is the kind that makes you respect the past because it proves reinvention is possible. Until it isn't. The company's roots go back to 1852. The Studebaker brothers built wagons that carried Union soldiers through the Civil War, transported 49ers to California goldfields, and helped settle the American West. By 1895, Studebaker was the world's largest wagon manufacturer. They entered the automobile business in 1902 with electric cars, then gasoline models by 1904. Unlike other wagon makers who failed to adapt, Studebaker thrived. By the 1920s, they were America's fourth largest automaker. Studebaker wasn't trying to be the richest brand in the room. It was trying to be the smartest. The 1939 Champion got 28 miles per gallon when fuel economy wasn't even a selling point. The 1947 Starlight Coupe, designed by Raymond Loewy, looked so futuristic that competitors accused them of building cars coming or going. The hidden meaning in Studebaker's legacy is design courage. The 1953 Starliner, also by Loewy, influenced European sports car design for decades. The 1963 Avanti, fiberglass body, disc brakes, supercharged engine, broke 29 speed records at Bonneville. A fun twist people forget. During World War II, Studebaker built the US-6 truck, which the Soviet Union credited with winning the Eastern Front. They also built Wright Cyclone engines for the B-17 Flying Fortress. But the emotional crash comes from the post-war era. The Big Three's economies of scale were insurmountable. Where Ford could spread costs over millions of units, Studebaker spread them over thousands. Every car cost more to build, sold for less profit. December 20th, 1963, Studebaker closed its South Bend plant after 61 years. Production limped along in Canada until March 1966. A company that survived the Civil War couldn't survive modern capitalism. Hupmobile. Did you know Hupmobile once sold so well that it competed head-to-head with Ford's early dominance and then vanished so completely, most people think it's a joke name? The Hup Motor Car Company launched in 1909 in Detroit, founded by Robert Craig Hupp, a former Oldsmobile and Ford engineer who understood exactly what America wanted, dependable cars with a touch of pride. By 1924, Hupmobile was producing over 30,000 cars annually. They weren't just surviving, they were thriving. The Model R, their first car, sold for $750 when Ford's Model T cost $825. Better value, comparable quality. Hupmobile's early success came from building vehicles that were solid, simple, and stylish enough to feel like an upgrade without becoming unreachable. They pioneered straight-eight engines in affordable cars. They offered freewheeling technology, basically an early overdrive, when others thought 3 speeds were enough. And the hidden magic was branding. Before branding had a name, Hupmobile sounded upbeat, modern, almost musical, like a product from the future, instead of a machine from a workshop. Here's the twist. In the 1930s, when survival meant reinvention, Hupmobile tried to cheat extinction by buying bodies and designs from other makers. They actually purchased the tools and dies for the stunning Cord 810, one of the most advanced cars of its era, and rebadged it as the Hupmobile Skylark. Imagine that. A company so desperate, it bought another company's masterpiece and slapped its own name on it. The moves came too late. Production ended July 1940. From 30,000 cars a year to 0. From competing with Ford to becoming a trivia question. Cord wasn't merely a car brand, Cord was a dare. It brought front-wheel drive and futuristic design to a public that wasn't sure whether to applaud or back away slowly. Neil Cord didn't just want to build cars, he wanted to build the future. The Cord L29, launched in 1929, was America's first front-wheel drive production car. Lower than anything else on the road because there was no driveshaft tunnel. It looked like it was doing 100 miles per hour standing still. But the real shock came in 1935. The Cord 810 debuted at the New York Auto Show and literally stopped traffic. Hidden headlights that cranked out from the fenders. A coffin nose hood that looked nothing like any other car. No running boards. The body flowed uninterrupted from front to back. The dashboard looked like an airplane cockpit with engine-turned aluminum, aircraft-style toggle switches, and a Bendix pre-selector gear shift with no clutch pedal. You selected your gear with a tiny lever, then pressed the clutch briefly to engage it. Miniaturized gear selection in 1936. Cord's symbolism was its silhouette, long, low, impossibly sleek, like a promise that technology could still be elegant, even when the world felt heavy during the Depression. A fun fact-style twist. The Cord 810/812's design was so advanced that when production ended, Graham bought the dies and built cars with the same body for 3 more years. Hupmobile did the same. 2 companies survived by copying a failed design. But the tragedy is that theater costs money, and complex innovations become liabilities when resources run thin. The 810's front-wheel drive system suffered constant problems. Vapor lock plagued the engine. Early cars literally overheated in traffic. Ford built only 2,900 cars before ending production in August 1937. The company that dared to build tomorrow was killed by today's economics. Hope you enjoyed this one. There's another video waiting that you'll probably like. Thanks for watching.